Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Bart Sharp, and this class is Stress to Bliss and finding out how we create that, because it's very much an internal process, but also there's so much in our external world that influences us and such. Of course, just about everybody except for Rosario is from Austin on this particular recording. And we're all faced with, we have more virus is going on, and the numbers have jumped. And, that I thought that was a really good place to start the class is, the feelings that the virus is not going to go away. The feelings that we cannot return to a happier time. And which is a very seductive thing. And I think there's two types of people. The people who want to return to something of the past. This would be with a slogan, "Make America Great Again." Or those who say, well, the past is what it is, and the only thing we can do is move to the future. We can, which means we need to learn to embrace the present. And that's the real discipline about it, is embracing the present. Now, I was just reading a article on Steve Jobs, and he said where he got his power from is always remembering who he was, which is a past tense concept. And, he had a lot of validity. He says, I remembered my karma. I remember my dreams. I remember my passion. I remember who I am, and have confidence in all of these things will carry me over to great ideas in the future. And I think that's a really powerful statement. However, that is not going into a reality that we have to return to a place where we were happy, where everything felt safe and secure. That's a different concept. So it's always great to remember your power and who you are, and continue to relish that and believe in it. With the virus feeling that it's not going to go away, how many places in your life is there a place of futility that a particular issue about yourself doesn't seem like it's ever going to go away? Or a pain of some abuse that you've experienced isn't going to go away. It's always going to be there to haunt you, to hurt you. Now, what happens when we have a stress in the present tense moment is the body wants to go back to a past memory. And the reason it does so is the ego is trying to get you to stir up your past so you bring it to the present and resolve it. That has been something I have more like had a conclusion that that's how it works. I've never seen this written in a book. But to me, that's what the ego is all about, is always bringing us to past experiences to see if we can bring them up and resolve them. It's really funny, everybody talks about the ego, but nobody really tells me what it's about, what it is. And to me, it's kind of a masculine-driven mechanistic creation In other words, we created it as a way to protect ourselves from our unresolved issues. So the ego does things like put us in fear, put us in anger, create a driving energy to overcome things, to control things, all in the unconscious motivation of security or victory or domination. It's all about confronting things. Sometimes we misunderstand it and we just want to defeat what we have an adversity to, as opposed to going back to this original thought. What's being triggered from our past? What does it have to do to teach me? And this is huge. I mean, this is the question to ask about anything that makes you uncomfortable, and to ask it again and again until the insight starts to show up. And if you're really particularly unable to find anything, pick up a notebook and a pen and keep them close to you. And when the thoughts start to show up about an issue, write them down. And then more thoughts will show up and you write those down. And before you know it, you start to get into that train of thought. It's an opening. And something about writing always helps bring in clarity. Thinking about it is, your mind works too fast. Writing slows it down to where you can see it. So that's a really important part of therapy and a lot of different therapeutic tools. But let's just go back to this thing of, wow, how is the virus creating stress for you now? We've jumped into this place where the numbers have jumped. And, it's not a matter of whether it's dangerous or not. There's just a lot of frustrations with this. Well, we're going back to step one or something. To me, it's like, well, this kind of means I'm not traveling anytime soon. Various things like that. So let's just feel where this is in your body. Feel where this stress is of that, I'm stuck. We're not moving. We got to confront this and contend with it more. And it could go into that, well, I'm really angry at these people that are not wearing masks, or I'm angry at the governor, or I'm angry at these people that are, wearing the mask. It can go in a different ways at that level. So would you think about the emotions of what you're feeling? Where is it that it's uncomfortable in your body? Where is that stress? And so to get more clarity about anything, I always ask this question: what is secret about this? And can I allow this to be revealed? Everything's so secret about this. Can these secrets be revealed? Can I feel this energy even more? So everything that is, just say yes to yourself, like, I'd like these secrets to be felt. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So how I work in a situation like this on Zoom is I kind of connect with the collective consciousness of the group. Maybe some individuals show up stronger than others, but I feel different things in my body right now. It's just like when I was talking to Karen and Mary, it's like I said, well, just touch the tree and feel the vibration of the tree. Feel what's different inside of your body. And that's the energy of the tree. So we kind of did the same thing. When I said everything's secret about this, can it be revealed? all the energy of y'all came and connected with me, and I just feel something different in my body all of a sudden. I know it's not me. I'm just connecting with everybody that's participating. And would you be willing for all of the infinite intensity of consciousness of these limitations to be perceived, known, and received? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. So how many times have y'all been in a place where it feels like this is a yucky hell?
Yep.
I'm glad somebody spoke it up. Yeah, I mean, we've all been in those places that this is hell. I don't have an answer for it. I go back to the 5th grade when I was mischievous in class and had to go to the principal for a month and talk to him about it. And I had to keep all of this secret from my parents because I was afraid of them. And I just had this big secret in me that I had to write out. It's like, wow. So it really taught me about how miserable, stress, and a secret and something that I have no control over feels. And then going into the pretense, if anybody else found out about it, you know, then the hell would really break loose. That's my story. So, you know, I just kind of go back to sitting in the principal's office and looking at this man and, you know, hearing all of his questions and not having great answers. So whatever that is for you, all the, everything that you've made secret, hidden, invisible, covert, unseen, unsaid, undisclosed about this, can you allow these secrets to be revealed? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, so we really want the full intensity about this to show up. That's just how it works. We want it to fully show up so it can fully be acknowledged. Everything that is connected to your mother, everything that is connected to your father, everything that is connected to intimate partners, everything that is connected to persecutors, everything that is connected to victimization, you being the victim, other people being the victim. Everything secret about all of those things, can you allow these secrets to be revealed? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everything that it's connected to this situation now. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. And what are the core emotions about it? Sadness, fear, shame. So the big one is fear. How much is there anger? How much is there a diminishment of love? It's like there's no love to give to this problem. Okay. So that one read too. All right. And I feel it a lot in my gut. I mean, everything from my solar plexus all the way down past my belly button, and particularly in the lower colon on my right and left side. And it just feels kind of like a gnawing pain that's not painful. It feels upset. That's what it feels like. So it may feel, you're going to have your own version of this. So just sit with this comfortably. This is not the enemy. This is awareness. And we want to clear it. So everything that you've judged that this is bad and awful and wrong and should be avoided, we don't ever want to go back there. Would you just claim on and acknowledge that that exists? And that you can go back there and you can feel this fully. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all night, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So there's a lot of judgments around this issue. And judgments are like walls. They're built around something that we're afraid of or sad about or even angry about. That's kind of how judgments work. They're like a wall. So let's break down the wall. So I want you to just feel that energy inside of you that's uncomfortable. All the force and energy you use to hold that in place, will you please destroy and uncreate it all, totally and utterly. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Ooh. Okay. So all the considerations that you have made that this is a secret forever, in other words, that it's never going to go away, it's not going to be resolved, and therefore always going to be uncomfortable or scary or aversive to you. All the decisions, judgments, compilations, and conclusions you made to do that, be that, have that, create that, will you please revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all of that totally and utterly. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. And how much energy do you use to feed that reality? In other words, any type of wound we have inside of us that we've not resolved, and we're like pushing it down through repression, a part of our energy goes there every day. So everything that you've conditioned that you need to defend yourself against these fears, this past, about how the virus affects you, affects your community, and affects your choices. Everything that is, all the energy you use, will you please destroy and uncreate that totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyond. And would you claim on and acknowledge yourself that you no longer have to give this place inside of you energy anymore? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Whew. Okay. How many projections do you send out to others that we all suffer? We're all suffering with this. And what vibrational wavelength or specificity is what we call it in Access, is that activating in people here? Fear of obliteration, fear of annihilation, fear of degradation, that one reads, fear of non-beingness, fear of non-sexualness, fear of ostracization, that one reads, fear of separation, fear of fractalization. So fear of ostracization and fear of degradation read. that something in degradation is that somebody or some force is coming to hurt you, either physically or mentally or emotionally, that has an intention of hurting you. It's totally unfair. So everything you're connected with that, that's really interesting that shows up because, you know, I go to Facebook and I see so many people angry and they're venting about this anger, but it's, you know, it always feels like they're really afraid of being hurt. They're trying to express something that they're really afraid that something's going to unfairly hurt them. So everything that is, that it just feels unfair. You're going to be unfairly hurt and unfairly ostracized. All of the energies of fear that you're connected with others with that. What is that energetic energy? All the vibrational specificities in ways, means, methods, modalities, forms, structures, significances that it's held in your body and connected to others, and all the protocols, factors, and focal points and positive ions, free radicals hold in place. Will you please destroy and uncreate that totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, beats, and beyonds. So, how much does it feel like you need to connect with other people's pain? And it's an unconscious decision, but also I think we've been taught that in a lot of Christian beliefs that feeling other people's pain is a good thing. That we had to really, you know, absorb people's pain and feel it as a way of caring. And how much does your body really not like that at all? So everything you have turned off because that really hurts because you feel other people's pain. Feeling your mother's suffering, your friend's suffering, your friend's pain. You know, and feeling other people's pain is the physical symptoms, but also the mental attitude of their suffering. And everything that is, will you please revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy it, uncreate that totally and utterly. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all lied, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, so everything that creates sadness in you, that you cannot be yourself because you are obligated to suffer with everybody else. And the emotion that really shows up with that is, excuse me, sadness and anger. Those two emotions. And it reads a lot in the spleen, which is a real typical place we hold sadness and anger related to sadness. So sadness is a lot of times when we look at it as a childhood issue, is the feeling that we don't get to be ourselves. We have to do things that other people want us to do. We have to become the type of person that our parents want us to become. And a lot of times that force and energy that parents or adults put upon us can be really strong. And, you know, the only thing that we can do is be sad that we don't get to allow our inner child to experience its own form of bliss, or not enough. So everything that anger is at people that said, no, you can't be like that. You can't go barefooted. You got to wear shoes. No, we don't want you to do art and go play out in the sun. You need to get in there and become a mathematician. Whatever that is. So, how much anger is there? And everything, and this is so much about when you're going into emotions to keep saying this question. Everything I made secret about this, can these secrets be revealed? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. And while you say it, of course, you just pay attention to your body and see what changes. See what gets bigger. See what density or uncomfortableness appears. Those are the emotions expressing themselves. So, this is really big in your spleen, and yes, it's anger. So all the force and energy you use to hold that in place, will you please destroy and uncreate that totally and utterly?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. So what is the consciousness of sadness there? How much does this sadness feel like you become invisible? In other words, you just shrunk down, and that child inside of you doesn't get to be seen due to the oppressive nature of the adults around you. They want you to be something else. Or they're totally ignoring you. Or they're just punishing you. And I say those things because if I say that and all of a sudden you feel more uncomfortable, that means you have that inside of you. That's what's being triggered right now. So everything so shiku about that, we allow these secrets to be revealed. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. And all the force and energy we use to hold it in place, will you please destroy that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Whew. I don't know about you, but I just kind of went blank there, which is a good thing. Sometimes when you're doing clearings and you go into an issue, like 5 seconds later, you may not even recognize what you thought. And what that means is you really got to the point of it and you moved it. And it's really gone. It was a very in-depth clearing. The deeper you can concentrate and feel this stuff, the more powerful it is. So would you claim on and acknowledge that you can feel these energies with ease, joy, and glory? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah. And would you claim on and acknowledge that you can interact with the lessons that are in front of you right now with ease, joy, and glory, with curiosity, with allowance? Everything that is right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, beyonds. Allowance is crucial. And the phrase that I always say, there's 2 of them. Interesting point of view, this energy is coming up. And it is what it is. This time is what it is. And one more thing is to keep asking, what does this have to teach me? What's the opportunity here? And stay into that place. Because you're basically telling your body that you want to open up and start unfolding and coming to this greater place. So those questions and those comments keep opening that consciousness. Just at the same time, if you're saying, "Oh, this is awful," this really sucks, or this person is awful, they really suck. That basically closes it down and lets your body know that it needs to resist this stuff. And it's the power of being open, which the second part of this class is, how do we find our bliss? So we're going to switch gears. We're a little bit over halfway. I'm doing pretty good. Getting all of this in. I love the author and philosopher and mythologist Joseph Campbell. And, he was asked, well, how do you find the path to God? How do you find enlightenment? And he made a really good comment, which kind of got stamped on a lot of bumper stickers for a while. Follow your bliss. Says that's it. Follow your bliss. It wasn't a religion. It wasn't following a society. And all of that stuff can be done. But, what is your path to creating this feeling of adventure, possibilities, excitement, fulfillment? What opens you when you do it? And to me, one of the things that can really help you determine what your bliss is when you're doing it, do you have more energy? Are you more focused? Does it seem like everything comes together? And that can be anything from training horses to making peach preserves. It doesn't have a real solid definition of what that has to be. Some people it's a higher calling, it's a meditation. Some people it's cooking Chinese food or being a carpenter. It's that possibility that is always open there. What is the energy that it felt like you as a child did not have permission to explore and nurture that possibility? That as a child, their bliss is the ability to play freely. So everything that has that invalidation that your play is not valid. All the decisions, judgments, compilations, and conclusions holding that in place, will you please revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uproot that totally and utterly. And all the sadness about that, holding that in place. All the secrets about that you've held secret, that you've repressed that sadness, that I don't get to play freely like I would like. I don't get to have that playful spirit. I don't get to take that curiosity from childhood and playfulness and apply it to my life as a older child or as a teenager, and then bring it into adulthood, everything that is, would you allow all of those secrets to be revealed? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, beyonds. It's a type of woundedness, you know? And it's a wound that the more that you embrace that it's okay to have it, that sadness, it becomes a wound that opens your heart more. It's a sacred wound, so to speak. And that such pain of, well, you know, how many of you really felt like your inner child, or that child that you were at 3, 4, 5, 6, didn't get to bring that wonderful stuff into your life or into your next stage from 6 through 12, then into teenage years. That freedom to possess it and have it confirmed as valid didn't happen. Everything that is in that sacred wound. And another aspect about sacred wound is that this probably happens to everybody to some degree. You know, it's a conflict that we have. I mean, I think there's just universal stages that happen in childhood that everybody experiences to some degree. This is one of them. So it's sadness. All of what that sadness is, shame, fear, sadness, okay? It's sadness. All the force and energy that holds this in place, everything that you have held this as a sad wrongness and have contracted it, will you please destroy and uncreate it all, totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everything that your child has held that wound, would you claim on and acknowledge that it no longer has to hide it? That it no longer has to judge that it's impossible for this to evolve? And that's the whole thing about sadness. It's everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, beyonds. Everything about sadness, though, is it's a feeling that it's never going to change. And if we repress it like this is such a bad time, it's never going to change, we're using energy to keep it pushed down. But if we can acknowledge that, no, I had a sad child there. I didn't get to, you know, my playfulness did not get to evolve. You know, for me, it was a lot with my brothers and fathers. My brothers would always say, oh, well, you're just a pussy, you know, you need to grow up, you know, you need to learn how to play baseball instead of, you know, being out in the dirt with your trucks. Like, you know, so it's that type of conformity that takes this away. I was in Bliss playing with my trucks and my various other little toys. I had no interest in baseball. But of course, eventually I had to let all of that go and play baseball. I wanted to have any type of indoctrination into manhood. So everything that brings up for you, would you claim on and acknowledge you no longer have to repress that sadness, that you can allow it to come up and evolve? Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So in Access, we had this statement, what are the possibilities? And it's kind of like, what are the possibilities of something showing up in our lives. But, and we make those requests, and when we do so, it's like planting a seed in the universe for it to happen. We don't know when that seed's going to pop up and start growing, but we keep planting them in those possibilities. So it's kind of giving this message out to something greater than our mind and ego. And at the same time, it's empowering something inside of ourselves that we can have these possibilities. So what is the infinite intensity of consciousness of what else is possible in your life? Everything that is, we like to multiply it 1 billion times 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 1 billion, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, on, choice, boys, beyonds. I have a bad habit of doing an activation before I really explain it. And now I'm going to explain it, and then we're going to do it again. When we ask to activate the infinite intensity of consciousness, we're asking for this infinite consciousness in us to come forth, to be active, to get to work, get involved. And then we say what we want it to, what area of our life we want it to expand into. And in this case, the possibility that all possibilities can happen in our lives. You know, it doesn't mean that you're going to go out and do everything most likely that you wanted to do in life all this year. What it does, it just says, I'm open for any possibility to appear in our life. And that I'm going to keep opening this energy so my spirit can be open. This greater consciousness opens. This inner child that had a connection with love and nurturing that I may have lost in touch with can open. To me, the inner child or the child is really connected to the parasympathetic nervous system. Children are connected to that. They're relaxed. They're caring. They're kind. They're nurturing. They see things in terms of love. And, you know, I think for most of us adults in Western society, a part of us would like to return to that so we can complete the cycle. But what we're really also trying to do is return to our magical self, because that parasympathetic oriented child has a connection to magic that we're not exactly in tune with as an adult. We're more like, we got to get the job done. We got to get it accomplished. We're moving on. And how can I figure all of this out? You know? And we're doing all of those things. And those aren't exactly parasympathetic consciousness. So I invite the infinite intensity consciousness of what is possible, what are the possibilities in my life to open 1 billion times 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 1 billion. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, on, what aspects and beingness inside of you can open to bliss? How many ways can you open to bliss? Everything that is. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, on, choice, boys, and beyonds. And how much consciousness is there that has been turned off to that possibility? That bliss has no relevance in my life. Everything that is like that, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. So a clearing like that is just like, let's clear some of the shadow, and now let's bring in the light. We build more light, more shadow shows up, we clear it, and then we bring in more light. And it starts to get bigger and bigger. So we're just kind of clearing out those anchors that are slowing us down. So I invite the infinite intensity of consciousness of anything is possible, and what are the possibilities to activate a billion times 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 a godzillion to the godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. And so what possibilities are ready to show up in your life? What's ready to come in? What is next? Are you willing for that to come to your awareness? Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everything that you have built, habits, predictability, routines, playing the same tune over and over again, as your way of safety and security, as your way of living life. Would you be willing to allow other possibilities to appear? Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. One of my favorite books is The Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. And Richard Rudd explains addiction like this. Addiction is like being a piano. You have 88 keys, and it can play, an infinite amount of patterns and tunes and melodies. However, most people play the same tunes over and over and over again. And it's a whole way the neurology of our brain works. It wants to create predictability because that makes it all so much easier to function. We think the same way, we do the same things. We don't have to use so much energy to be something else. So everything that you've done to tune down your energy and to channel it into same patterns to create this ease of predictability in your life. Would you be willing to open that up? All the ways, means, methods, modalities, form, structure, significances, protocols, factors, and focal points, holding those patterns in place. And all the protocol, I got that one. Will you please destroy and upgrade that totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. So we invite the infinite intensity of consciousness of what are the possibilities consciousness to activate a billion times 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 a billion, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. And what knowledge and expressions have been unwilling to appear because you've not been able to receive them. Everything that is, will you allow them to activate? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Like consciousness, if we really look at consciousness, it's like a spiral going up. That's what consciousness is. It's always it's just a spiral going up. And we can interact with that and allow ourselves to evolve with it. So when we're into blissful things, when we are in fascination, a curiosity, we're in that spiral. And we're evolving. Just it's the same thing. If we feel negative things, it's the exact opposite. We're in resistance to that spiral. This is how the universe works. It's always spiraling out. That's the pattern. That's the Fibonacci spiral of life. Where all plant life has that like that. We are part of that. And I know I've said this many times on these calls, but this is a great opportunity in the consciousness of humankind right now. We are jumping in consciousness. And so it's a great time to participate, to work what you wish to do and to evolve with it. Your happiness and joy are incredible. It's just like Karen was telling me, she's the first one to log on. She's going, I'm really enjoying this time at home. It's something I haven't had in a very long time, of getting to just relax into myself. And that's why this consciousness has jumped so much, is that there's so many people relaxing into themselves. You can jump it even more by following your bliss, doing things that give you energy, that make you excited. Also, I just believe just getting quiet and getting centered into deeper parts of yourselves, or even promoting it more. So, what seed of consciousness is ready to activate in you now? What's ready to be resolved to where you perceive life in a totally different way? What struggles are you having that, if you could turn the consciousness of it, would be your greatest lessons? You know, and it's kind of like looking at what you really don't like about yourself, or what you struggle with yourself, or struggle with others. The question, how can I do this differently? What does it have to teach me? What's my lesson here? These are all good things. And trust me, I got a situation in my life that is confronting me very abruptly. And that's the questions I'm asking. It goes back to this. This does not stop at any given time in your life. It's always there. You know, we have more stuff to learn. The question always opens it up. And it's just like the brain. If you ask questions, the brain starts functioning differently. One of my favorite ones is, what is right about this that I'm not getting? and trust me, it's kind of like information starts to show up very abruptly. But I love this one of like, what are the possibilities of discovering myself at a deeper level? All of these things work. They're all amazing. So when we look at Joseph Campbell, the guy who coined that phrase, follow your bliss, he had an enormous appetite for knowledge, and he stayed curious his whole entire life to all the information out there that was about mythology and religion, and putting together. He had that huge appetite for it. And you know, what are you hungry for? That's kind of a great question to ask, and do more of it. I want to thank everybody for coming today. I'm sure I'll be going back to this as long as I'm in Austin, and as long as, you know, we're in this very unique virus situation. This is part of my service, is to do these free classes, most likely on Friday at 12 o'clock. Maybe change other times. I do have a special event coming next week. I believe it's July 9th. I am going to be a guest on this radio blog program called The Outer Limits. And I'll be sending this out on Facebook, the information. I haven't gotten it, but this is a huge program. This is a paranormal investigation program. And I am going to speak on the ancient mysteries of France. But it's a big one. It's like, it's supposed to have around 1 million listeners. So I'm kind of excited about it. At the same time, I'll probably be the same guy, hopefully, that just talks very plainly. And I really like the lady who hosted, Michelle de Rocher. She is just a wonderful person. She's one of my Facebook friends. And that's how I got to know her, through Facebook. So please tune in and check out this Ancient Mysteries of France. I'll be sending out all kinds of notices as soon as I know in the upcoming days. Because it's going to be July 9th, so it's really coming up soon. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. We'll see y'all later.
Thank you, Bart, so much.
Mark, can I ask a question?
Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
Bye.
My question is, this weekend with a full moon and a lunar eclipse, any extra energies that are coming up for you with all of that, and how we should experience it tomorrow?
Be an allowance of it, because some of the astrological and planetary shifts right now are very confrontive, and they're very stressful, and they have a tendency to magnify negativity.
Right, right.
And we have to really see that we need to be aware of that.
Yeah.
And face it with love. Face it with your heart. You know, because any of that energy is just energy. So when we open it with our hearts and questions, it shifts to something else. But it's a challenging time. There's a lot of conflict. You know, almost like the astrological shifts are about confronting the stuckness in the world. And there's a lot of stuckness that's getting ugly out there. And, you know, it's prejudiced, you know, it's aggressive, it's racist. It has all kinds of different titles to it. And I think that struggle is going to get magnified. We don't need to be a fear of it. We just need to be aware of it and stay in our own journey.
Right.
You know, it doesn't mean that, you know, if you feel the need to speak out or express or learn more about whatever is happening in the world, that's great. You just don't have to buy it. It's really okay to detach in love to these people that are unconsciously expressing a lot of negativity right now.
Yeah.
And not to resist them, but it's just like, well, you're really in your pain right now. Wish you the best. I'm going to stay centered in who I am. And I can't change you. That's how I always get. It's like, I can't change you, but I can open this up and open it and connect it with you. My heart can connect with you, but it's your decisions to make. not mine. To me, that's really great. I think that's what we misidentified. Instead of taking on other people's pain, being detached and loving to them serves them better. Thanks for asking that.
Yeah. Happy full moon, everyone, tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna rock.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you for this, Bart. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's really great seeing everybody. Thanks for coming back. And we'll be back on the Zoom call soon.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.